Welcome to the best 3,000 songs I've heard so far, The Chart Show, an audio revelation of a snapshot in time provided by two gurus of absolutely nothing, save for a bunch of occasional informed and self-assured opinions about the music reviewed from various genres and years presented on this show. Hey dude, let's go.
Hello and welcome to the inaugural event of our lifetimes. This is Joseph Gwynn, and we are bringing you the best 3,000 songs we've heard to date, The Chart Show. I am very pleased that our friends at Ages of Rock have allowed us to be part of their platform. My co-host is one of the members of Ages of Rock's now famous Around the World podcast, Mr. Dennis Talbot, a man that I've known since we were 6 years old. I'm not sure either one of us have matured much beyond that, but nonetheless, we still know each other as 49 years later. Still going strong. Mr. Dennis, thank you for having us.
Yes, and I have to say that all the cursing that I do on the Ages of Rock podcast was thankful to Mr. Gwynn, because I think I learned every curse word I had from you. As is our own podcast, this thing is unedited, it's unscripted, extremely unprofessional.
Amen.
And and we will be cursing and whatever we have to do to get through this thing. But we have started this thing on Facebook as far as the best 3,000 songs we've ever heard. Joe came up with the idea. I ran with it also, and it's something that we're trying to get going. It's just to let people know and open people to songs that they have maybe never heard before, or maybe you did hear it and you hadn't heard it in a long time. So it's just a celebration of great music. So this show that we're doing today is something else that Joe came up with, and I get calls from him as he travels in his car, and he says, "I'm listening to Casey Kasem's,
this week in the 1970s on XM radio."
Exactly, yeah. And he's just bitching, going, "Boy, these songs suck," or "These songs are great."
I might have an opinion.
Exactly. So it's just one of these things where we're gonna pick a week and of a certain year and
a certain decade. It's not just the 70s. We're going to try to visit as many decades as we can.
Right. And it's just basically a celebration of music. We're going to like some. We're going to hate some. It's just all an opinion. And you'll have an opinion also when you listen to this. So.
And you're free to share that. But if you do, we're also free to respond. So.
Exactly.
Nevertheless. So the reason that I've been harassing Dennis to do a chart show was because as we grew up in the 1970s, we were exposed a lot, mostly to AM radio, until we were cool enough to figure out FM radio was more our style.
Or our dads bought a car that had an FM radio.
Or our dads bought a car that had an FM radio. That's more likely. Absolutely.
My dad was an AM guy for a long time.
Yeah, and so let's give a special shout out to the radio stations that we listened to as kids. Yep. WTCJ in Tell City,
yes.
WITZ in Jasper,
yes. And
because I'm originally from Terre Haute, WBOW in Terre Haute.
Right.
With that, I want to, and let me turn it back over to Dennis, but the week that we're doing for this broadcast is the U.S. Top 40 Singles Week ending the 10th of August, 1974. We may not always be doing the top 40. We may be doing hard rock weeks, soul weeks, whatever it may be, but this is where we're starting. I chose this date because Dennis was already the ripe old age of 10 for about 5 weeks at this point, and I was still about 5 or 6 weeks away from being 10, 9 years old. Nonetheless, we heard a lot of these songs on the radio. Some of them we never heard until we got older, and some of them we're wondering why in the hell did we ever have to listen to begin with.
Exactly. And I was really surprised because I sat down today and went through the list of 40. And, of course, I picked the wrong list. Of course, it was a couple weeks earlier. But luckily, the lists don't change very much. They shifted a few notches here and there. There was a few new ones coming in and going out. But all in all, I had to listen to probably go back and listen to about maybe out of 40, probably 18 of these songs, and then once I heard the song, I'm like, yeah, I know what it is. But there was a couple there that I had not heard. The interesting thing that I found out is it's a very, for that year and for this month, it was an extremely Motown type driven black artist for top 40, to be honest. I mean, and 70s music was that. I mean, it reflected what it was at that point.
Right.
But it was, and the thing is, they're great songs. But the thing was, I was amazed of how much Motown influenced music was in that.
Agreed. And actually, that's a great segue because I'm going to talk about the first song number. We're starting in reverse, and we'll post the top 40 so you can kind of follow along when this is released. But the first song is actually a political song, "Fish Ain't Bitin'" by Lamont Dozier. Lamont Dozier was the along with Brian and Eddie Holland, were part of Holland Dozier Holland from Motown Songwriters. Left Motown in the early 70s to start their own label, Invictus. But most prominently, they were the reason that the Supremes became who they became, because everything that the Supremes had tried songwriting-wise in Motown had kind of flopped until they started working with Holland Dozier Holland. The song, Lamont Dozier was a decent singer. Can't say that it's a song that I would put in my top 3,000 list, and that's a little caveat too, is that at the end of each of our sessions, we're going to choose and see if there's any song at all on these lists that we're going to include in our top 3,000, or maybe have already included in our top 3,000. So, and Dennis, I know this was probably one of the first or second time you'd heard this song. What did...
It actually was one of the ones that I had to look up, and it's really funny. You know, you talk about the 80s and how there was a cookie cutter thing of a lot of the metal and the hair bands and the things of the 80s. 70s also there were cookie cutters. There was that kind of that wow, 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 you know, that kind of
overproduced stuff. Yeah. And
this song here was one that I was not familiar with, but once listening to it, it's like, well, yeah, it fit. I mean, it is right. is a 70s cookie cutter song.
You can't miss that it's 70s.
Oh, no, it is. It's going to be it'll be the background in a Starsky and Hutch show at some point. But no, it is. But is it a bad song? No. But it's just kind of. But that's why I didn't know it.
It doesn't stand out. It doesn't grab your imagination and your interest for too long.
No.
Even though I do like the Tricky Dick reference in there.
That was, and it is a political song.
Because it is fun. It's like, Tricky Dick, stop your bullshit. So it's and it was 1974. So when this came out, actually it was August 10th. 2 days prior to that, Mr. Nixon had resigned. On August 8th, 1974.
But being that it was released, this was written
very timely.
Before his.
Yeah, but when the Watergate. Well, no, it was actually
during Watergate.
It was during the investigation, right. But yeah, he hadn't quite been reminded.
The timing was pretty good on that.
Perfect, absolutely perfect.
Exactly.
So the next song is one that is near and dear to the hearts of. Anybody who's ever had amorous relations with women and like to have good mood music.
Right. And
Big Brother Barry White singing "Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe." It is definitely a fertility song, so to speak.
Well, when you say that, you have to lower your voice about
my darling. I can't get enough of your love, babe.
You gotta get
forgive me, brother. Forgive me in heaven, Brother Barry.
But you can't. I mean, it's Barry White.
It is.
It is Barry White, and it does. And it's kind of like somebody else that we'll talk about in this this list. James Brown.
Absolutely.
When Barry White makes a song,
you know exactly who
it's
it
Barry
is.
White.
Yeah, there's.
And he ain't talking about fighting. He ain't talking about politics.
He's talking about
loving.
But maybe I think we need to clean the
baby
sheets.
Something. And somebody's gonna get laid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Great song, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good song.
The next song is number 38. It's an instrumental. by a group you may or may not have heard of, out of the Tuskegee Institute in Tuskegee, Alabama. The Commodores, and it's the instrumental Machine Gun. A song that a lot of people, as I said to Dennis, I asked him if he remembered it, and he said, yeah, as soon as I started playing it.
Right.
So it
didn't recognize the
title, yeah.
The title. I love the Commodores, and I was really surprised, though. In the 70s was that thing where instrumentals were something that could get by. Has there in the last 10 years been an instrumental on the radio? To be honest, the 70s were really, you had Hot Butter Popcorn. I think the last one was probably Chariots of Fire, and that was probably in the, 80, mid-80s or something like that. But there's very few instrumentals, but this is one of those ones, and it was on Boogie Nights.
It was?
Yes, and they used it on Boogie Nights.
I love that movie, yeah.
So, it's a very big staple instrumental.
It's a funky tune.
Which is on this top 40. There's actually 2 instrumentals on this.
Yes, there is. We'll get to that later, but absolutely.
But it's surprising that here nowadays you don't get any instrumentals, and here we had 2 on the top 40.
Most not as many instrumentals.
And I honestly though did not know that was a Commodore's. So. Yeah. And that's why I like
and I didn't either for years, and it's like, oh, that's Commodores, no kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I love Ages of Rock, because I learned things that we don't know.
Yeah, you guys have.
Today, doing this, I've already learned something that I didn't know. So
Well, you guys go.
So was Lionel in the band at this point?
Oh yeah, no, he was. Okay. Yeah, he was the one.
So I did. That's one thing I did not.
Keyboard.
Oh,
that's him. Yeah.
Okay.
But
cool.
And for those of you who may be listening to this because of our 3,000 list and have never heard the Ages of Rock podcast.
Have you used this song?
No.
Okay.
I think that I think that you should definitely go through their prior episodes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of great artists, great musicians, great music historians like the one you just finished this week.
Oh, with Julian.
Julian.
Are you talking about Ages of Rock?
Yeah, Ages of Rock.
Oh no, we're all a bunch of we just kind of we wing it.
Other than Alan looking like Amish Bob.
He doesn't look a little Amish, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But he has electricity. I know him. I know where he lives. He has a TV.
He's a Mennonite. Yeah.
He has a TV.
Yeah. So, but
we love Alan.
Absolutely. So anyway,
right.
Go back to the next list.
All right. Where are we at?
Number 37.
37. What we got?
Happiness is Just Around the Bend by The Main Ingredient. Totally forgettable song.
Yawn. Okay.
Now, the only notable...
I had to look it up, and then I skipped it once I heard it. So
yeah,
it's 70s cookie cutter. Yeah, it is.
Well, and it's the lead singer is Cuba Gooding, father of Cuba Gooding Jr. I think Cuba just died. The father just died in the last year. Yeah, so
was he the main ingredient of the band?
I think he was their second lead singer.
Okay, there you go. So he wasn't the main ingredient.
No, he wasn't the main ingredient.
He was kind of like the pepper to the salt. So.
Exactly. So we're going to skip on to the next one, and one that a lot of people will know by those Canadians, the Guess Who.
Yeah.
And that is Clap for the Wolfman.
There you go.
He gonna rate your record high.
And you know what? We will not get caught by YouTube or any people on that one, because that was a terrible rendition of that.
Well,
but it's good.
But
we know what we're talking about.
No, he talks about the pompous of love, But YouTube may sue me for singing so poorly, but what the hell?
No, they won't even.
If you're tone deaf, I'm sure I sound great.
They know what you're talking about, though. But
exactly.
It's a good song, though. Guess Who was a really... it was a decent band. They had some great tunes.
Burton Cummings, by this point, though, because you'll notice he's on the list later, right. Randy Bachman had left the group.
Right.
So
he had another band. A little band,
yeah. We'll talk about them in a little while. So, and the next one, Dennis, I want you to... please read the title, because you're a married man, and
one hell of a woman.
And she is.
Yeah, she is. And that is my wife.
Fun song.
The thing is, I like Mac Davis as he's a decent singer, but Mac Davis is a hell of a songwriter.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
and it's almost like Chris Christopherson.
Absolutely.
I don't like when he performs music.
Right.
But Chris has wrote a shit ton of great tunes.
The man,
and I think
he's
Max
soulful. He's a poet.
And Max got a better voice than Chris. Don't get me wrong, But I just think that he is a better songwriter than he is a performer. Now, is it bad? No. I just think that if he would have sold every tune that he ever wrote to somebody who could really, 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 really sing, it'd have been better.
Yeah, well, and he also did some pretty forgettable movies in the 70s,
well,
too.
Of course. Well, he got into that.
Cannonball Run or something.
Well, no, he did North Dallas 40.
Oh, North Dallas. No, that's not as bad, though.
But no, he didn't do Cannonball Run, Did he?
No, I'm Bert and Dom DeLuise.
Yeah,
but I thought he was in that. But
No.
Never know.
Jerry Reed, of course, he got into the...
Yes, well,
that's
Jerry Reed.
that's another
God
list.
Love Jerry Reed.
And that's another list, and we'll talk about... Actually,
absolutely.
His name will come up later.
He's fantastic.
But he will come up later in this conversation.
Yes.
For a reason. Anyway.
Now, Dennis, please tell me what you think of the next song. Number 34.
Okay. It's Elvis Presley trying to be black as he can. And, the thing is, when you start hearing this song, it's a great 70s song. It's got that, it's got that kind of Motown-ish beat, and then Elvis comes in singing over top of it. And it's like, it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work.
By this point, the peanut butter and banana sandwiches were ruining his brain and his voice.
And he's almost like Kiss. You're going with, you're getting, Kiss did the same thing with disco. We went into, I Was Made for Loving You. When you're black and leather and you're spitting blood and shooting flames, and now you're doing a disco song because disco's big.
Exactly.
So Motown is hit. They're doing all these, bow chicka wow wow songs. Well, Elvis never had a bow chicka wow wow song, and he tried it. And the song is good. The music is awesome because, of course, they got the best players, but his voice does not mix with it. And it is a good try.
Well, but, and you're right about as far as Elvis. At that point in the 70s, he was trying to do different songs, different genres.
Right.
And we'll get into Elvis on other
You're talking
occasions.
74, and so now we're 3 years from...
3 years from
being gone.
Being gone, exactly.
So he was...
He was...
and of course, Elvis never made one decision by himself. It was...
No, it was always...
Colonel.
That bastard, may he rot in hell. That's
exactly.
why we'll talk about him later.
Exactly.
But number 33 is Edgar Winter, younger brother of Johnny Winter.
Right.
The fantastic blues guitarist. This is a song that, again, can't really say that it really did much for me. Rivers Rising.
Actually, I'm a big Edgar Winter fan, and honestly, I had never heard this song before.
I hadn't either.
And so it's kind of forgettable. It's nothing spectacular. So carry on, my wayward word son.
And indeed, with all
too bad a Kansas song isn't next because it was great.
We're 3 or 4 years away from their first song on charts. But
let's go to somebody who we know.
Yes.
There we go.
So the next one is I have a very polarizing opinion about the next artist. It's a song titled "My Thing" by the Godfather of Soul, James Brown.
Who's he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's that guy that was on PCP at one time, right?
Possibly, but the thing about James Brown by 1974 had gone through about 4 years of the same damn song, different titles.
Right.
The songs all sounded the same. In fact, the only song from the 1970s, early 70s of his that I really, really enjoy is the one that his saxophonist Maceo Parker was the title on, and that's like Doing It to Death. I'm sorry, Fred Wesley. Fred Wesley was the one doing that, not Maceo Parker. But yeah, unlike Live at the Apollo and some of the cool songs like Night Train in the early 60s, James was all in for the paycheck at this point.
Right.
So, anyway, so we shall go on to number 30.
This is a good song, don't get me wrong. But it of course, whenever you hear it, it's James Brown.
It's
just like Barry White. It's like it's a James Brown song.
Yeah.
It sounds like the same song.
But
kind of Bon Jovi-ish, it's a Bon Jovi song.
It's a Bon Jovi song, yeah. But Barry's songs never always sound the same.
Right.
Barry was a composer.
He was trying to hit some other piece of butt at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But so the next song is by the Fifth Beatle, or as people called him, and that's Billy Preston, who this was one of his first vocal songs because, or at least one of his first vocal hits, not one of his first vocal songs, because the song I think that might have been prior to this, or even a couple songs prior, was the instrumental again, "Out of Space,"
Right.
which is known to a lot of people, even if they don't really know the title and so forth. This is "Nothing from Nothing," which we remember probably riding on the bus.
We go high like a bird up in the sky. So this was pre. That was pre before this one, though.
Yeah, this is Okay. So this is "Nothing from Nothing Needs Nothing."
Oh, great tune though. I mean,
it is.
Now, did he write his own tunes?
I think so.
I
can't speak definitively to this, but
okay. Because that's one of these things where you got people that were say like Elvis. Elvis sang that song. Elvis never wrote a damn song in his life.
Right.
They bought songs, but no, Billy Preston. I think he wrote, and of course he's a hell of a keyboard player, and love that song though. They were always catchy. They were radio tunes. They were huge AM radio tunes at that point.
They were old. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do we have next, Dennis?
On and On by Gladys Knight and the Pips.
On and On.
Yeah.
So,
not one of their best songs,
no,
but, it's Gladys Knight.
It is, and this is...
And the Pips.
and this is at the point where they'd already moved to Buddha Records. They'd left Motown.
Right.
And went to Buddha Records, and this is during the same year that Midnight Train to Georgia came out.
Oh my God!
And
the greatest song ever.
Yeah.
Greatest video. You watch them guys; they're doing like choo choo.
Oh, well,
they're chugging along, and it's like Gladys Knight.
I mean, that was
you bow in front of her.
That was a brother, her cousin, and a family friend that were the Pips, and
right.
They were fantastic.
No, you can't say a bad word about her. Even a bad song on a bad day, Gladys Knight could out-sing anyone.
Oh, absolutely, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love her.
And the Pips were.
The Pips were fantastic.
The tip. They were the tips of the Pips.
Exactly.
No, they were fantastic. So it was just. But is it my favorite song from them? No.
No, I agree. No. I agree.
But you can't complain.
Number 29 is by two very famous artists.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
One who had been famous for a decade by then, and another one who'd been around for a while and had some songs, but were just really coming into their huge era of their career. And that's the song is "Then Came You," and it's by Dionne Warwick and the Spinners.
Right. It's amazing that they kind of hooked up, because the Spinners were on their own were good.
Well, they were. Well, I think it's just, I really don't know the story behind it, but...
you think, though, that Dionne Warwick had a premonition? A psychic premonition?
From the psychic hotline. Absolutely.
See, that's where the psychic hotline comes from. She knew that...
She knew that she needed to record this song.
If I hooked up with the Spinners, we're gonna have a hit.
We'll make another hit.
And Then Came You.
Yeah.
I love Dionne Warwick. That's another woman that could, she could see in the phone book, and it's just,
Well, but luckily she sang. I mean, I'm a monstrous fan of the catalog of Burt Bacharach and Hal David, which is how she made most of her hits.
She probably made more money off the Psychic Network, though. To be honest, back then that shit was big money.
It was, and I'm sure your parents still haven't forgiven you for that phone bill.
No, I don't believe in psychics.
So
that is good.
But the next one is a song that I enjoyed how you explained it.
Well, it is basically a really shitty rendition of Wild Thing. It's terrible. Don't even just.
Yeah,
if you see it or if you look at it, just walk away. Don't even think about it. It's a terrible,
by a group named Fancy.
And they
no idea who they were.
Are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't think they're.
I don't think they're in any Hall of Fame.
They're probably not even in their.
They're not even in the discount.
They're not junior high school Hall of Fame.
They're not in the discount bin anywhere. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, you can't even.
No clip corners. It's like we don't even know.
No dollar albums on them. Yeah,
we don't even know. Fancy, who the fuck's that?
Now, if by chance somebody hears this,
yeah, and you got that record, I want to buy that record.
And if you know one of those members of that group, do not give them our address. So,
I'll give you a penny for that album. How's that?
That might be a little high.
Okay.
But the next song.
Oh yeah, there you go.
The next song was a very popular song at that time.
Right.
By a group called the Hughes Corporation, and I think this song probably eventually made it to number one, or was maybe been on the way back down, and that is
"Rock the Boat."
Yeah.
Now, is that beginning of the rock yacht rock kind of thing?
That's a good segue.
Because that's where the AM Gold, early 70s AM hits
they all
were considered now yacht rock.
Exactly.
So it was Rock the Boat, the beginning of this?
Well, it could be. Well, I got to know.
I like the song, though.
You got to know, Shan.
I know, I like it.
Oh, it's a great song.
It is a great song.
Number 26.
We got some more rock coming.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Number 26 is a song that I absolutely love by a singer that I really enjoy.
Right.
Whose wife was also a recording artist.
And more of this Motown. I mean, I'm telling you, this 74 list.
Well, this was
black artist wise and Motown influence type music.
Well, it was I mean, the 60s influences of Motown, Stax.
Right.
High records out of Memphis as well. Just like
it's amazing how many there is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, back then.
It's more reflective than what it became in the 80s. I agree.
Oh, of course.
Or even in the late 70s.
Right.
But
once disco hit, it kind of killed everything.
It did.
It is absolutely just kind of.
So, but and actually, the previous song "Rock the Boat" could almost be considered a disco song.
It is. I mean, honestly, it was probably. I guarantee there's some disco at some point. Put this in at some point, and maybe actually probably made a remix out of it.
Right.
Because it's something that could be that part, but Rock Your Baby was.
Rock Your Baby is just it's a groove song.
It is. I mean, it's just kind of. And it kind of just puts you in a mood. You know, it's one of those things where I wouldn't necessarily pick that song to listen to, but it's not one of those ones. But it's not one of those ones that I'm going to turn the volume down.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll listen to it.
As I'll say more than once on any of these shows we ever do. I am Caucasian Soul Brother #1. So it's I have a very healthy collection of album CDs. Downloads from the Napster days.
Exactly.
Things like that.
Napster, what's that?
I have no idea.
Oh, I do.
But so Dennis, please tell us about the song we would hear on the bus every damn day. Number 25.
We heard that. Rub It In.
Oh,
I never really heard that.
Rub it in.
You must have. You had a different bus driver.
Well, because I rode. Which bus did you ride?
Partridges, 15.
I rode Pud Grove's bus.
Yeah,
17.
Pud would listen to these.
Yeah, Pud
we listened to KDQ in. Was it KDQ out of
Evansville?
Evansville.
Yeah, probably you did.
We listened to that one, and we would get some early. We get a lot of ELO and shit like that on our. Not shit, but great tunes. Well, but yeah, Pud was an old dude. He was 70s when.
Pud was fantastic.
He's great. He's the only guy I know who drive down the road and looking in the rearview mirror the whole time, looking back.
Well, and he's like, that's because we were little assholes on there,
He didn't give a shit what the road looked like. He was like, "What
are these little bastards doing?" I know. But
Pud Groves was actually a bus driver for my dad.
Well, yeah.
I shit you not.
I believe that because I was speaking to another guy recently that's about your dad's age.
Right.
Don't you dad go to high school?
A christening.
Well, hell, Bruce Sisnick from Christening. That's
we'll have to ask.
They were all about
Buckles. Buckles was Dad's teacher.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
No, Jim Buckles.
So I know you guys don't give a shit about this, but this is funny. Yeah, so we're talking.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
so we're reminiscing, folks.
Anyway,
but Billy Crash Crowd. This song was actually kind of a.
This is a country song.
It's a country song.
It is a country song.
A lot of that was the other thing too. There were
this is kind of almost a crossover.
Well, and see that the point you were making about the R&B and the soul music.
Well, and Mac Davis is not a rock. Music, yeah. He is more of a folk country kind of. Well, they call it now singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be actually. I don't think he would be considered country because he's more of a singer-songwriter. But back then, Mac Davis. If you went to get a Mac Davis record, you'd probably find it in the country section.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think he did a lot of his songwriting in Nashville for Nashville artists.
Of course he did. Yeah.
So,
of course he did.
And not that everybody else didn't. I mean, other than, but no, but this.
So Rub It In. Of course, Rub It In was more of a. It was a country kind of had a flair to it.
Well, and like I said, the point you were making about soul music was the same for country. You had a lot of country artists that would cross over at that time period in the 70s, too. You had a lot of songs that were...
Well, they were cookie cutter, 70s. We want to get on the radio. And they knew how to do it. Put a little orchestration behind it. Little chicka wah wah, chicka wah wah.
Dude, you watch way too much porn.
I'm telling you, Starsky and Hutch,
Well, it's the Wawa on
the hedgehog would approve.
How's that? Hedgehog, free the hedgehog,
free the hedgehog.
Oh my God!
All right.
So the next song is one that I absolutely enjoy. Johnny Bristol was a songwriter for Motown, so back to Motown Connection.
Right.
And so he was a songwriter for Motown, successful songwriter.
Right.
This was his first big hit on his own, Hang On In There, Baby.
Not a bad song.
It's
one of the ones that I had to look up, but I enjoyed it.
It's an interesting song because in this decade and in this century, this was a song about basically losing your virginity, about this guy encouraging the woman, woman, to lose her virginity. So, good song, but now when you hear the lyrics, it's like,
Keep going.
But anyway, it's but that's all I've got to say about that for now. But worth the listen if you've never heard it. The next one is by some asshole. I don't know what his name is, but number 23. If you can go through that for me.
23, I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Probably my least favorite Eric Clapton song.
I
mean, Eric Clapton's one of those people that, I give him props for being Eric Clapton and the stuff that he's wrote and the bands that he's been in previously, everything, but I've just never been a Eric Clapton fan. I honestly, I never, everybody's like, oh, I want to play cocaine and this, and then, Lovely Tonight and all this, and then Tears in Heaven. It's like going, for some reason, I am, and to be a guitar player, it's odd for me because I just really don't get into Eric Clapton. And this song here has been played to fucking death. It's just absolutely.
And if I'm going to listen to it, I want to hear it by the guy who wrote it, Mr. Bob Marley.
Right.
So, but I'm with you on Eric Clapton.
But I'm just not. I think he's a really good guitar player. He just but
he's not the guitar god. And for those of you who like the Derek and the Dominoes album,
Layla's probably my favorite song.
But he's not even the best guitar player on that song or that album.
But he's on it. I'm saying.
But it's his album, it's his group. The best guitar player on that, for those of you who have not heard it or read the liner notes, is the late and greatest Duane Allman.
Right.
So
of course, Duane Allman was was amazing. He what motorcycle accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, he died unfortunately of a motorcycle accident.
Very close to his home too.
In his hometown, the town where he was,
right. He was just going home
Macon,
or something.
Georgia. Yeah, he was just
a few miles.
Some guy ran the stoplight and hit him or something. But
yeah, and like I said, there's no dissing on Eric Clapton. It's just one of those people. Even as a guitar player, I don't find anything interesting about him. Is he a great player? Yes. I just don't find anything outstanding.
Being a great player doesn't mean that.
It's nothing appeals to me, and it's just it's in a personal opinion. But he makes great music. So anyway, where are we at now?
Number 22,
Golden Earring, Radar Love.
Oh, I love this song.
I really didn't think that it was that, or I didn't think that it was that old of a song.
Yeah, it does feel like an early '80s song.
It does feel like an early '80s song.
Yeah,
but it
means that it still sounds.
It's one of those ones that it's a timeless song.
It is
very timeless.
I really enjoy the song. Absolutely.
And there's been very many covers. White Lion did a cover of it. It's just a great song, and to being in a band that's played this song, a bunch of times it's a timeless song, and everybody loves it.
And of course, like Eric Clapton, these guys are a bunch of foreigners because I think they're from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So something of that nature.
So anyway, but yeah, it's really good. So we like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 21.
We're gonna have a discussion about this, aren't we?
Well, it's an Australian, which unlike Canadians, not as other than AC/DC, God bless them.
Right.
And the Bee Gees are really British, so I don't put them in that kind of. If you don't love AC/DC, you obviously are tone deaf. But this is Helen Reddy, which she was quite popular in the early 70s.
She's a great singer.
She is a great singer. Can't say that I loved her stuff.
Right.
This song in particular, her daughter was the talking part on the song with her.
Which is ruins the song.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the song is a great song. It's not a rock song, and it shouldn't be on a top 40 rock thing whatsoever. This is kind of like a singer and standard song. Do you agree with me on that?
I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. This should
be
a cruise ship lounge song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. Helen Reddy had a lot of great tunes, and she's a great singer. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, she's a good woman.
I love her.
Great woman.
She's not Karen Carpenter because she's an angel, and she is an angel now. But I love Karen Carpenter. And if you ever say anything bad about her, I will.
Well, I will not say anything bad about her. I might say something bad about some of their songs, even though.
But anyway,
Richard Carpenter.
But Helen Reddy is in that category. You know, she was one of those people. Anne Murray, Karen Carpenter, all those women in the '70s that had these great tunes. But the song itself, like you said, when I listened to it, I go, "Why is this even on a top 40 rock thing? This should be a singer in standard or standards. You know, it should be in a different top 40." It was picked up and it was played on the radio, but the stuff with her daughter, I mean, it's cute.
Yeah,
but it's like, oh.
Well, some people like that touchy-feely shit.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, the only one song of hers that I really like is because it's just kind of freaky is Angie Baby, because that's an interesting, weird story.
But her voice is, I mean, I love her voice. Is she still living? I mean,
I assume so. I haven't.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I thought that
that's one of those Wikipedia searches I've not taken the time to do.
Because you haven't heard anything out of her forever, so that's why I didn't know if you...
let's hope she's in good health if she's still kicking.
Because she could sing at her time. So
yeah.
All right.
So the next one is a song that I love, and the guy that wrote it, another Canadian. We got all these damn Canadians on here. We got a couple more coming up too.
All right.
I'll point them out as we get there. But Andy Kim, "Rock Me Gently," great song.
Great yacht rock song. I mean, that's on that list of every time you do yacht rock. Any kind of set list, it's in there.
By the way, do you know what song that he wrote for not only himself, but it was think of our childhood in the cartoons.
Okay.
And think of bubblegum rock song.
Okay, so I would think Archie's.
You're there.
Okay. Everything's Archie?
No, dude. The song that's a fun song, and he sings a good version. The Archie sings a good version. Wilson Pickett.
Sugar.
Wilson Pickett sings a version that makes you realize that if an adult man sings it with a voice like the Wicked Pickett, it's great. Sugar. Yeah.
Right. So Sugar. Yeah.
So yeah, Andy Kim wrote that song.
I didn't know he wrote that. That's
he sure did.
I mean, of course, for people who don't know this, cartoons are not real, and the Archies are not real. They were actually the Wrecking Crew.
Well, that's true. Well, of course.
I mean, the Wrecking Crew is the Archies, and actually, the Wrecking Crew was most of every musician in the '60s. So
yes, exactly.
Early '70s, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The others. Some of the great studio bands include the Funk Brothers at Motown, and Booker T and the MGs were the house band at Stax, but the Wrecking Crew did Denver.
And then you also got down in.
Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals.
Yeah, you had the Swampers and
the Swampers and all that.
Yeah.
So there were, most of the hits that you hear from the late '60s were not bands. They were basically singers with a studio band that were paid.
With the Archies, man.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the Wrecking Crew documentary, by all means,
please do.
Absolutely fantastic.
We actually have interviewed Tommy Tedesco's son.
Oh, his son, Tommy Tedesco's son. Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, that's when I've got the books.
We watched it together. I watched it the first time with you.
It's really good. It's really good.
Absolutely.
It's interesting.
So, now the next song, Dennis, I'm going to let you introduce because I have things to say.
What? I'm leaving it all up to you? Donnie Marie?
Yes.
Ooh. And you're going to decide what we're going to do.
I want to...
Ooh.
Oh, God. I think
you know what, though? Marie was kind of hot back then.
Dude. She's hot now for an old broad, but I mean...
Because she's been on Nutrisystem or whatever it is.
Yeah, but she had like 43 kids,
I know.
But,
you know what, though? It was really interesting, though. I know we're getting off, which we do on our podcast either.
Well, we do it anyway when we talk.
So Donnie Marie, they started this thing in Vegas. It was supposed to be a 12-week run. And what did it go, 14 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like some kind of incredible.
Yeah, they
just finally said, you know what?
We're done.
We're done. And you know what? They did it right before COVID hit.
Right.
So, right now there's nothing going on out there. But, the thing is that's how freaking popular. I mean, remember the Donnie Marie show?
Yes.
I mean,
I do.
It was a staple.
Well, and like I said, I think the Osmonds and Donnie Marie, I mean, they're obviously good people. They They had talent. It wasn't
right. And the thing was,
my appreciation for them was it wasn't like, oh, let me hear that song again.
Right.
It's like, every damn time it came on the radio, I got to shut it off.
Well, they were poppy, but
Yeah.
my friends with the Rock and Roll Residency just did a remake of Crazy Horses. Now you heard Crazy Horses.
Crazy Horses. Yeah.
But I'm telling you what, that's a rock song. That's not one of these teeny
But,
bop Paper Roses
But
bullshit.
do you know when they recorded that?
Puppy
and
love
Do you know
bullshit.
where they recorded that song?
I don't.
Well, they recorded that with what's that? God, the name's leaving me now. But they recorded it at Muscle Shoals at Fame Recording Studios.
There you go.
With Rick Hall.
There you go.
In fact, I think Rick Hall got the album of the year and producer of the year for that album, because that was the
For Crazy Horses.
you go to Muscle Shoals and you're as white bread as you can get, and all of a sudden you
Get a little soul in you.
get a little soul and come out.
But anyway, there you go. There you learned something. I learned
Absolutely.
something. All right, where we at?
A song that I don't really, it's kind of a forgettable song by a group that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah,
half the time.
I was surprised about that. I had never heard that song. I looked up Grand Funk's, was it Shining On?
Yes.
And I did not recognize it.
Yeah, I mean,
I honestly had not heard it before.
I've heard it because I've got their greatest hits album.
I didn't, and and it's surprising because I'm thinking, man, 1974, it was a hit. Why didn't I hear this? So.
Well, I mean, then this was before their last hit album came out, because in '75,
True.
They had.
They were hitting hard at that point.
In '75, they had their last couple of hits. One of them being Some Kind of Wonderful.
Right.
But then the song that I absolutely love, and I look at it as a theme song.
Right.
Bad Time.
There you go.
I'm in love with the girl I'm talking about.
But I had to actually look that one up, so I was kind of surprised on that.
Yeah.
Love the next song though. That's a great yacht rock song.
Great song. Another bunch of foreigners, them boys from England, the Hollies.
That was number 8, number 17.
Who started in the '60s, and I think, did he go in? Was he part of Paul McCartney's band, Denny Lane? I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I think he went into the.
Was it the Hollies he was in, or Moody Blue? I think it was Hollies.
I don't remember. Right.
But because he was on the same Go Now, but back in the '60s. But yeah, great band, fantastic song.
Yeah.
Always
Love
happy to hear it. Always
that.
happy to hear it.
Exactly.
Next one, number 16, another band that
I can give or take.
You can give or take. I mean, I agree. There's some of the songs I absolutely love.
Right.
Others, it's like, why? And then that's Three Dog Night, Sure As I'm Sitting Here. And again, I don't really have much to add to it other than...
It's just kind of forgettable.
Yeah. But the next song is
by
people that I know both of us love.
And there again, it is a band that has... Probably, if you want to assemble the best players in the world and record something, that's what they did.
Yeah.
Steely Dan, I mean, really have never been a per se band. They were, a bunch of people who recorded together when they went out to play. Of course, it was Walter Becker, and
Donald Fagen. And they
with
brought
the main
along
two.
Skunk Baxter,
Yeah.
Jeff Skunk Baxter. I think Michael McDonald occasionally sang.
Michael McDonald sang backup on a lot of that shit. Sang, but
And
actually, he sang on Ricky Don't Lose That Number,
which is what this song is. Ricky Don't Lose That Number,
right.
yeah.
But Steely Dan was
staple of not so much for yacht rock, but staple of the.
And you know how that name
classic
became?
rock.
Don't you know how that name became? Don't you?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Steely Dan was somebody was talking about. They went to their mom's nightstand.
I don't know. Do
I think I go any farther?
Yes, please.
Found an object in the nightstand. And they named it Steely Dan.
Mom was lonely.
Sorry.
Dad went to sleep early.
That was actually, I read an article and they were talking about how that name became, and that's how Steely Dan became. So, anyway.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Sorry to
that's
mess up somebody's childhood, but that's what happened.
Well, no, couldn't have been.
But I tell you what, though, I mean, I'm a huge Steely Dan fan because whenever a Steely Dan tune comes on, even Steely Dan's worst tune is better than a lot of people's best tunes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because just the musicianship in it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is, and they were AM gold back then.
And they, Can't Buy a Thrill, Pretzel Logic, all these albums from this era. It's fantastic.
The worst song on any of those albums is better than a lot of people's best songs. So,
absolutely,
yeah.
I love
those guys. Anyway,
the next one is by a reassembled group that was very popular in the '60s.
Right.
They'd broken up for years. Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield, the Righteous Brothers, and this song was an homage, I guess, to some of the people that had died. It's it's called Rock and Roll Heaven,
right?
And it refers to it makes Janis Joplin, Jim Croce,
basically,
anybody that died in the last 4 or 5 years.
Basically they said, Heaven's got a hell of a rock and roll band because of the people that have passed away. And the Righteous Brothers are known for more of their Unchained Melody, that kind of
Melody,
and they're
Lost That Love and Feeling,
right.
These songs
but this song here, I thought it was they kind of stepped their game up a little bit, and that's why it is a rock tune. I mean, it's a rock and roll song.
Right.
It's good. I like it.
Absolutely. Now the next two songs, we'll take them in order, of course.
Right.
Are by a bunch of these damn foreigners again, these Canadians. I'll do number 13. You do number 12. Number 13 is by a man whose daughters, if you've ever seen them, he made good-looking daughters. Lebanese blood. Paul Anka, with a song that just. It's an interesting song because it refers to at a time when Roe versus Wade just came out, to not having an abortion and keeping it, and that's "You're Having My Baby." Fun little tune. Paul Anka had been popular at this point. This is 1974, since the late 50s as a teenage boy.
Right.
So if anybody's wondering about the daughters, you can look them up.
But Paul's known more for he's a writer more than he is a singer, though, right?
Well, but no, not really. He was.
I mean, he's had a lot of hits, but
he has. He wrote remember the Kodak commercials?
Sure.
The best years of our lives.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. I think he's more known for being a writer of tunes than he is.
Well, maybe in the 70s he was, because
but Paul Anka,
late 50s and early 60s.
If you don't know who the hell he is, you didn't grow up in the 70s, because he was all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, he'd been all over the place
everywhere.
For the third decade by then.
Yeah.
But number 12, Dennis.
Number 12, Taking Care of Business, Bach and Turner Overdrive.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing is, it's one of those things where being we were a cover band in high school back in the late 70s, early 80s. Of course, you played some BTO. Never was a big fan of those guys. I just never was a BTO fan.
Well,
and this song is just Taking Care of Business. It's great, but I've heard it
45 billion times.
And it's just like going, okay.
Randy Bachman and Fred Turner. Fred Turner was the bass player, and my favorite of their songs wasn't "Taking Care of Business." It's a song that I could, I turned the volume up to 43 on the 40 scale, and that's "Let It Ride," because Fred Turner's got.
I would agree with you. There's a couple of good BTO songs, but this is not. Like I said, this is one of those ones. It's like doing, let's say, I love ZZ Top, but I'm not going to play Tush once again. I've played that song so many times. I'm just done with it.
My favorite of their hits is "The Grange," anyway. So
same deal. I don't like playing it either.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Burnt on it,
But let me take the next song. It's a New Orleans band called Wet Willie, with an absolutely fun song called "Keep On Smiling."
I like that song. I really do.
It's really
and you cannot not smile listening to this song.
Exactly.
It's just a good pop tune. Great pop tune.
Really, really enjoyable song.
Yeah, agreed.
The next one is I'll do as well, because I'm going to save number 9 for you, because you have a lot to say on that. But the next one is by a group called Rufus. Had a chick named Shaka Khan singing for them. Their first big song, "Tell Me Something Good." Yeah. "Tell Me Something Good" is a fantastic song.
It's a good song.
She's a great singer.
So before she went solo, she was with Rufus? Is that what you're saying?
She was with Rufus, yeah. She was part of the group. They were based out of Chicago.
So what made her go... was she that good that she went on her own?
Well, like anybody, when you're the voice, they're going to... some...
right. So you're a blended Carlisle of the Go-Go's, so you're going to go...
Say, get rid of these guys, you can make more money.
You're in Scandal, but you're you're Patty Smythe. We want you to go solo. So.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, but she. Yeah.
Because I know actually when I looked it up, it actually was under Shaka Khan, including Rufus.
No, it was originally just Rufus.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but
it's.
That's what
I'm
I
sure
saw.
I'm sure the other billing came later.
Probably.
But Mr. Talbot, tell us about number 9.
Number 9. Let me look at my. So we have a really. It's funny. So Jim Stafford is Wildwood Weed. Jim Stafford is one of those people, and there's a category of those people, and I think that I can think of 3 of them in my first thought, and it's Jim Stafford and Jerry Reed and also Ray Stevens. Now Ray Stevens, I don't think played an instrument. Now correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I honestly, everything I've ever seen him do, he's always just kind of a singer. And Ray Stevens' claim to fame was, he wrote these kind of ditty novelty songs.
Yeah.
Now, Jim Stafford he is an excellent, along with Jerry Reed, they were very, very well known and very good session players as far as just even guitar or either other instruments. I know Jerry Reed could do banjo, could do guitar. I know Jim Stafford was a great guitar player. If you ever look him up on YouTube, you can look through. He did some things on if you're going back to the Smothers Brothers, so that's how far we're going back.
Right, Jim Stafford.
He would do these things where he would play classical guitar, but while he's doing it, he's fumbling and he's doing these comedic kind of things along with it. Of course, he wrote songs like My Girl Bill. He did, the funny thing is, I won a free shot of whiskey.
Spiders and Snakes.
I got a free shot of whiskey in Nashville. This band played this song. He says the first person to come up and tell me who played it and the name of the song gets a free shot of whiskey. And they played My Girl Bill, and I walked up there and I went, Jim Stafford, My Girl, and he goes, dude, he says nobody ever gets that. And the thing was, because it's one of those songs, but of course he did, like I said, Spiders and Snakes. He did, and of course, Wildwood Weed. He's got a whole ton of it, but they're all these kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of, and that's how he made it. And of course, then Ray Stevens and Jim Stafford both went to Branson, and they made their lifetime. They're gajillionaires, sitting down there playing the same 10 fucking songs every day, twice a day, in a theater.
But I'd have gone to see him. I never did, but I'd have gone.
Right.
I've never been to Branson. But,
I haven't either. But Jerry Reed, I put him in that same category because Jerry Reed, and I actually played a song for some friends last night called "Take Another Puff," which is off one of his albums. It's just a funny song. And you got Coco Joe, you got She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft.
Exactly.
You got Amos Moses.
Fantastic.
And all those songs were tongue in cheek, kind of funny, but Jerry's playing his ass off on everything he ever played for. And they were and him and Jim Stafford to me are extremely underrated as musicians because of what they put out, what they're known for. That's that Spiders and Snakes guy. No, he's a really good guitar player that wrote some tongue-in-cheek songs.
He made some shitload of cash off of it, yeah.
But yeah, he made a ton of cash off it. So I don't. It's like he's not sitting around in the gutter not doing anything. He's sitting in Branson with a great big ass house going. Spiders and Snakes does it really well. Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
the next song is one that I just every time I hear it, I immediately change the radio. I do not like this group.
Didn't know it.
It's a group called Blue Magic, a R&B group of the 70s. And this song, like a lot of their songs, starts out with the familiar dun 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 dun. No.
I'm thinking of porn again. Sorry.
Again,
Hedgehog. Save the hedgehog.
Yeah, you need to get in. Save the hedgehog. Exactly. Oh my God.
Hashtag save the hedgehog.
Exactly. So please put that on Twitter.
Yeah, I will.
But this song, Blue Magic, this was kind of their biggest hit, called Sideshow. And so it starts out with, like I said, everything you've ever heard on cartoons is dun 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 dun. So it starts out with that same tune,
and then you got the kind of the announcer in the background going, "Step on up, see this stuff," and that's an instrumental.
Well, it's not, but
it is. But it's
this song is not.
No,
Step
that's not.
Right up.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't stand the song. Anyway, this is the next number 7 is a song by a group that.
So we missed the other instrumental. Which one was that?
Hell, I don't know now.
'Cause we said there was 2 instrumentals. So we done screwed up.
You said there was 2 instrumentals.
No, I did.
I agree.
I know there is another. Well, I considered one of them running a little bit long on there, and the only thing they said was during the chorus. Keep going. I'll figure it out.
But yeah, so by all means, unless you are just a glutton for punishment and have an affinity for blue magic, miss that song. But the next group is one that Dennis loves. I think he's got their poster on his wall.
My girlfriend's ABBA.
Yeah.
Whatever their names are.
Annika and whatever the hell. Yeah.
The thing I can remember is I can remember sitting in my living room and my mom and dad are in the kitchen, and I'm watching American Bandstand, and they have their ABBA is on. They're singing, and they have these shirts, and they have this. They have a button at the very top of their collar, and there's this big round circle that kind of go around their edge of their boobs. Get a little cleavage shot.
Yeah.
I'm like going, I feel a little tingly. I'm like going, I like this band. I don't know what it is, but I'm 10 years old, and I'm going, okay, something about this band is interesting.
Yeah. So the song, by the way, is one that Dennis will sing you the lyrics for.
Waterloo, no.
Yeah.
And it's probably the worst song of their catalog. I'm not a big Waterloo fan, but it's okay.
I'm ambivalent most of the time. I mean, I don't have anything against that, but I don't have anything.
Knowing me, knowing you, I would like better than that. But SOS. SOS was a song actually that they were wearing a little round. That's how much I remember that. And I get a little tingle in my pants again.
Oh, Jesus, dude. I can't believe in the course of this almost hour that we've been talking that you've digressed to your
I've got a tingle in my pants. I love it.
Good Lord.
I love
it. Anyway, so number 6, Dennis.
Oh, Call on Me, Chicago. Great song.
Great song, especially
man. How can you go wrong with Chicago?
I mean, he's my least. Between the 3 lead singers of that era,
right?
He's my least favorite.
Really?
And we've discovered that he's kind of a little whiny shit,
right.
And because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame refusing to go and all that stuff like that.
True.
Peter Cetera, good bass player, fantastic group, good song.
Great really song. Good, solid song.
Like I said, I'm more of a fan of...
and it's kind of outside that 70s box. Where you get that chow, I'm going back to the porn thing again, but, we have a lot of those, that kind of Motown-ish kind of, but Chicago had this different sound. You got all those big horns, you got all this, I don't know.
Lulu Hayne, and I'm trying to think of the 2 guys, Walter Paradeiser, and the other horn player, forgive me.
And Chicago was in their prime at this point. I mean, they were hot.
Yeah,
so.
But so that was number 6, Calling Me Chicago. Number 5 is a song that I don't. If you want to call it a guilty pleasure, it is a pleasure of mine. It's the cousin of Kenny Loggins. It's Dave Loggins. Please come to Boston. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if he's first.
Well, that's only the first. That's only the first chord or the.
Right, so the first part of the song, yeah.
Boston's his first thing.
And Boston, Denver, and L.A.
Yeah, he's like trying to move that bitch anywhere. It's like please come to Zimbabwe for the fall.
Please come to Zimbabwe for the rhino hunt.
Yeah. But no, it is a good song. I do like that song. I think it's a great. Really it's another one of those yacht rock favorites that comes up every list that I pull up on yacht rock. That's a big song on that.
Yeah, one of the songs I actually never get tired of hearing.
No, it's a good one. So, I don't.
And I'll go ahead and state that this will in fact be on my list of 3,000 songs.
Oh, of course it will. I agree. I agree too.
But number 4, Mr. Talbot.
Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Elton John. I mean, good Lord, that's a huge song. That is a huge song.
Yeah, this man, the most successful.
Well, Bernie wrote it.
Bernie wrote the lyrics.
Right, and then Elton put the music together.
Yeah,
so together they put together a great song.
I mean,
a lot of great songs.
Number 1 artist of the 1970s, Elton John, without question.
Without question.
Yeah. The next song, Dennis, number 3. I'm going to let you take this because I don't want to say anything bad until I can.
Okay. Any song by John Denver is the second best song that John Denver ever wrote. Of course, Annie's song was written for his wife. oh my God, I just love
You
that
clog
song.
up my sinuses.
No.
What's his best song? If this is the second best.
God damn it. Poems, Prayers, and Promises.
Oh,
That's the one that Rod and I even told him, I said, if I die first, I want you to sing that song at my funeral.
Oh,
That song, is basically a life affirming song. It's like, it's like, poems, prayers, promises, things that we believe in, things I should have done. It's about, sitting around a campfire, with all my friends. It's just one of those, it just kind of affirms your life. But Annie's song was written for his wife, and it's like going, John Denver, he had his issues, but John Denver is an amazing songwriter.
Well, my favorite of his songs actually is a song that was made famous by a different group, and
right.
if his version of singing, I like the way he sings it better than the group that recorded it was.
Right.
And that's "Leaving on a Jet Plane."
Yeah,
I love his version of that song, and it's his song, so
John is John, and the thing is, you either like John Denver or you don't like John Denver. And I love John Denver. I have just absolutely, it's one of those things where I just can't get enough of it, and I sit around and listen to it. But Annie's song is just, it's fantastic. It's the best song in this top 40 right now. I love this song. So
this we disagree, but by the way, before we get to the top two songs of the week, let's remind ourselves that I missed a couple of foreigners on this band because Casey will always tell you the artists from different places. So I missed the Swedes, ABBA, of course, from Sweden, and Elton John from England.
right.
But it brings us to the very last British group on this week's countdown. At number 2, Dennis, tell us about it.
The night Chicago died.
Yes.
So we did a little.
Daddy was a cop on the east side of Chicago. Which, if you ever look at the east side of Chicago, it starts at Michigan Avenue and goes to the lake. So it's you can tell that a bunch of wankers wrote that song because the east side of Chicago beyond that is that's
right.
That,
But we did, like I said, we actually did our little research on this because we were curious.
right.
And of course, Wikipedia said it is a fictitious song about about a mob, what the mob deal from Al Capone, and they were talking about My Mama Cried. It was written, in the thought of the wife of a policeman that went to this shootout with the Al Capone's gang. So that's what this whole song is about.
And it was loosely based also kind of like on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre up on North Clark Street for those of you who like to go to Chicago.
There you go. But once again, this is another staple of the yacht rock songs. Any yacht rock song or any yacht rock list has any kind of backing on it, this song is in there. Paper Lace. And the thing is, can you name another song by Paper Lace?
No.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, actually, I can because I came up with it earlier.
Right.
Yeah, and Paper Lace wrote the song and recorded it in England, released it there. That eventually became a hit here in the United States by a different group.
I forgot.
Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods.
Right.
Billy, Don't Be a Hero.
That's right.
Civil War.
So here they wrote it, but they did not.
So
they did not perform it. So
exactly.
This was their only. Paper Lace. This was their one. This is their one-hit wonder.
Right. And so
Kabloosh.
we come to the number one song of the week of this week, ending August 10th, 1974.
Right.
Fantastic vocalist.
And not the song you're thinking. That when you say this, you don't know.
No, it's not the song you're thinking.
Right,
I know. Because the other song annoys me.
I know.
This is Roberta Flack, "Feel Like Making Love."
Right.
It was the first week at number one. Just to let the anticipation out of it, this was its only week at number one. The following week, The Night Chicago Died became the number one song.
Right.
But
a couple weeks earlier, it was at like number 4 or something because I looked at the wrong list. So it is a great, and this is one of those great. Roberta Flack was another great '70s female singer, and it's got a great. The song has a great groove. And it's a good song, and it's a song that stayed around for a long time. It's one of those ones that kind of stays. It's not like dated. It's kind of fresh. It's just kind of kind of more of a singer-songwriter kind of
like
song.
you point out with some songs, just you can't escape the decade
Right.
as soon as you hear it. This one is a little more timeless, like you said.
It has a little bit. It doesn't. It's got a '70s flair to it, but it's not just a definite. Oh, this is it's got that '70s stamp on it.
Absolutely.
Wow, wow. Save the hedgehog.
Save the hedgehog.
Hashtag
save the hedgehog. So, but so as we wrap up this list, thank you very much for enjoying and hopefully you enjoyed 1 or 2 minutes of this.
Yeah.
The next time we do this, Mr. Talbot will be choosing a decade and a chart, a week ending and whatever. So please make sure to tune in for that. We will alternate on that, and occasionally we will have special guests, hopefully.
Yes. And we're actually doing this one live, so if the recording sounds different than when we do something else, it will be different because we are actually sitting in the same room recording this.
Right.
We may be doing it next time via Skype, audio only though, presented.
Yeah,
but
if
it'll
you've
be
seen
different.
our photographs,
You don't want to. You don't want to watch
especially
this.
mine.
Yeah, especially Joe. He's ugly.
I
I held up pretty good after high school, but Joe's.
I went to complete shit. But and if any of these opinions that you may have heard from us annoy you,
Sorry.
I would invite you for self-fornication, but I'd like you to come back and listen again.
Exactly.
So we'll definitely look forward, if you have any comments, to hearing your comments. And if at any time you want to recommend a decade for us to listen to, please do. Like I said, when going through the list here, just one more time, just to add which ones I would add to my list of the best 3,000 songs that I've ever heard. I can honestly say, like I said, please come to Boston. We'll definitely be on there. And I'm guessing Can't Get Enough of Your Love Babe by Barry White will also be on there. Some of the others, while I may like them, Rock Your Baby may make it, but there's a different song by George McRae that I love more that would probably make it. And I've only got 3,000 songs to fill up, so I got to be selective, of course. Nevertheless, those are mine, Dennis. Do you see?
To be honest, looking at this list of the 40, like you said, because you got to be, I just don't put anything out there. Air That I Breathe by the Hollies, I do like that song a lot.
Good song.
That would be something that I would think about. I would probably do a John Denver song. Any song would be a good second. You're probably going to hear Poems, Prayers, and Promises at this point.
Well, and that's one thing about our list, too. Let's just go ahead and clarify that. As Dennis said in the intro, our lists are not necessarily made up of songs that we listen to in the top 40. It's made up of songs that we love.
Right.
And while the artists may have hit the top 40 with different songs,
Right.
the songs that we put on there have personal meaning, because Dennis and I have had long philosophical, occasionally alcohol-fueled discussions on
Right.
music. We've shared this passion along with some of our other high school friends, Jerry.
And the thing was, we talked about before, and I put this on my page also, that I think of certain songs, and the ones that I put on this 3,000 list are the time machine songs. These are the songs whenever they come on, for just just a second, I think of something, my mind goes away. And there's sometimes I'll smell something,
right,
or I'll think of something that I haven't thought of in years just by hearing
it's a trigger.
It's a trigger to your mind. So this is the closest thing to a DeLorean with a flux capacitor that we're ever going to get. Seriously. I mean, It is. Music is a time machine, and there's certain songs, and everybody has those songs that will trigger a moment in your life, good, and it could be bad. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just one of those things. But music, for some reason, you attach memories to.
Absolutely.
And that's that's one thing I love about music is I can escape for especially right now.
You're right.
With COVID.
You transport yourself to a different time, a different place, a different country.
Yep.
Whatever.
So
it's fantastic.
Anyway, Joe, it's been fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dennis.
Right.
We look forward to irritating your ears again with our opinions.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
And this will be on the Ages of Rock. You can check it on agesofrock.com. And it will be posted on all the ones except for, I don't know if it'll be on YouTube, but it'll be on everything else, Spotify, Spreaker, and all those other ones. So until next time.
And it'll be linked to our pages.
Exactly, until our 3,000 Songs We Love pages. So anyway, till next time, see you.
Thank you so much.
See you.